Josh Berry has had an unbelievable Rookie Cup Series season. It's unbelievable because no one would have believed at the start of the 2024 campaign if you had said the Tennessee native would be out of a ride at Stewart-Haas Racing along with the rest of his fellow drivers midway through the season because it's closing its doors, and he'd land a ride at the iconic Wood Brothers team for 2025. But here we are. I got the opportunity to visit with Josh, and we talked about the tumultuous season, including what it's been like at the organization since the announcement, what he's looking forward to in the future, and how he's disappointed it didn't work out to have Rodney Childers go with him as a package deal. And finally, how he and Rodney had one big disagreement this year, and it came a couple of weeks ago at Chicago. And now I'd like to welcome to the channel, Josh Berry. Hey Josh, how are you doing? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So I appreciate you joining me today. Let's start off by talking about the sponsorship with Panini and having Caitlin Clark on the car. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool partnership that we've put together, obviously with Panini. Panini has a great presence in sports and NASCAR and for a long time. So it's really cool to connect the two with myself and Stewart-Haas Racing, and it's going to be really exciting to go there and race this weekend, have Panini on board. Obviously, the Caitlin Clark collection is released now at Walmart, Target, online at Panini as well. So it's going to be really cool to bring some more awareness to that, and it's obviously the success that she's had on the basketball court and the popularity that she's gained over the last couple of years is going to be really cool that we can tie into our race team. And like I said, hopefully we can go have a good run.
So you talk about her success. I want to talk about your success because I don't know if you remember, we talked in March and I talked about the criticism of SHR from last year and the lack of performance. And you said back then that you felt like that you would kind of prove the haters and the doubters wrong. So just looking through your last 10 races, 4 top 10s, 2 top 5s. Talk to me about where you think you are as a program and you as a driver in your first year, your rookie year in the Cup Series.
Yeah, I think overall in my eyes, I feel like it's went pretty well given everything going on, without a doubt. I think
Right.
that our cars have been stronger. Everybody's been doing a great job on that side of things. Early in the season, right, it was just a little bit of kind of getting to know each other, figuring things out. We had a couple races where we had some struggles on pit road, and really the last couple months really has brought the best out of everybody. I feel like with everything going on, I think we've had a lot of really good runs, shown a lot of potential. Qualified up front several races, ran up front, led laps, been in contention. The biggest thing I feel like I lack personally right now is just the consistency, and I think that that's just going to come with time. Really, I think given everything that's going on, I'm sure that has played a little bit of a part in it. And then obviously just being a rookie in the series, right? Like you just
Right.
find yourself, having mistakes here or there that can hurt our day. So I think for me, my biggest goal throughout the remaining of the season, now that everything's kind of put behind us, I feel like moving forward is to keep trying to bring fast race cars, keep qualifying up front like we've been doing, running up front, and just minimize mistakes and just be more consistent the second half. And I think that we'll find ourselves to be up front, more often than not.
Yeah, you talked about consistency, and I just listened to the Kevin Harvick podcast with you, an interview, and you talked about consistency on there. But the one thing that I said I have to ask him about was he said, "Has Rodney ever yelled at you?" And you brought up the Chicago race a couple of weeks ago. So kind of expand on that. I thought it was really interesting. Talk to me a little bit about that because you guys are in the heat of battle, things happen. So talk to me about that specific situation and what happened.
Yeah, we it was there was so much going on in that race, right?
Right.
And the extent of it really was we kind of had a little miscommunication, a little confusion towards the end of the race about what kind of, if we wanted to run dry tires or wet tires, and really the extent of it was, Rodney was relying on me to tell him, and I was relying on Rodney to tell me what he thought, and we just kind of disagreed and had a little bit of a moment about it. But it was that race is so tough, especially with all the conditions we were battling. I think just a little bit of frustration came out with after having a tough day. But really that's been it for us. Really, aside from that, man, it's been, we've been and even after that, right? We had our we talked after the race and haven't mentioned it since, right? And
Right.
and that's just what a professional that he is, and how he handles things. And really, aside from that, man, there's really been not a single issue from us, each and every week. And that's been a lot of fun. And he's been a great leader throughout this process, really, with everything going on. It would be really easy to get, off sidetracked and frustrated, but he's been a great leader, and we've only, like I said, we've only provided our best results when the times were the hardest, really.
Yeah, and you talk about him being a great leader, and you've mentioned several times kind of the adversity you guys are going through. So, talk to me a little bit about that, Josh, because it just seems like you're experiencing something that a lot of drivers in NASCAR and the Cup Series just don't, where you're on a team and then you learn it's going away. So, it has to have been a tumultuous time learning of it because we all heard the rumors going on, and then it finally you guys get the news and now you're in a position. I'm kind of curious of where the organization is because you have to have that leader that's going to guide you because everybody's looking for a job. Fortunately for yourself, you found one, but everybody else is still kind of scrambling, trying to find their place for next year. So talk to me kind of about the environment and Rodney leading it and just what it's like at SHR these days.
Well, it's honestly the whole experience for me. I mean, given everything that's going on, it's been it's sad in a way because it's such a great place to work, and it's such a
Right.
great place to race at. I think, yeah, I might have said that the last time we spoke, right? Like
Yep.
how the culture and everything about it, they have, it's a great race team, and there's a great people there, and I think that's why, things have, continued kind of on the trajectory, that of getting better week in and week out with all of our cars. And I think for me, the hardest part of that situation was probably when we just didn't know what was going to happen
Right.
early in the season, right? When we didn't know if they were downsizing, are we losing one charter, two charters, three charters? We didn't know. That was the hardest part because really we didn't know what direction to go, and there was so much speculation and
Right.
distraction at that time. And once we finally knew the finality of what was going to happen, it honestly got easier because then we knew, hey, this is going away. We're going to all go different ways more than likely, but just, buckle down and do the best we can. And I think that that's what we've been able to do. And honestly, the leadership there they've been great to work with. And like I said, for us on our race team, really things have been as smooth as possible, I think. And I think it just, it goes back to the job Rodney and even myself has done throughout this process to keep everybody motivated. And I think we have a lot of racing left to do, and we've only continued to get better throughout the season.
And you talked about Rodney again, that he's not going with you. And there was always that speculation. And I remember people saying, oh, it'd be great if y'all could stick together. But he's not. He's going to Spire. So kind of tell me what your feelings were, because obviously you've developed a strong relationship with him in this first half of the season, knowing that he's not going to be with you next year.
Yeah, I think that was a challenge for sure, right? I think that, it kind of goes back to all the speculation. We publicly talked about, hey, like we can go together in this. We can go out, and I think the biggest thing is we just didn't know what was going to happen with the
Right.
charters. Who, was somebody going to come in and buy a charter, or somebody interested in our race team, one of the other race teams, or like we just didn't know what was going to happen throughout that process. And I think obviously Rodney and I have had a great relationship, and we had tons of conversations over the last couple months with a lot of different race teams. And fortunately it just didn't align for us to go together, right? I
Right.
mean, we had to, I feel really confident in the situation that I'm going to, with the Wood brothers and the people they are, and
Right.
going to such a legendary ride is such a cool part for me. And having that alliance with Team Penske, I think, is going to be huge for me as a driver to grow and work alongside Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, and Austin, and grow as a driver. And Rodney, was it, got a similar opportunity in a different place, right? To go to Aspire and make a difference, and be a leader there, just like he has at Stewart-Haas. So it just didn't work out. In a way, I hate that, I do hate that it didn't work out in a way, but, we've really enjoyed working with each other, and I owe a lot to Rodney for getting me to this point and the job that he's done this year. I can't, that's the thing about all this, really, is like it could have easily went so bad, and
Yeah.
it hasn't. right? It really hasn't, and we've continued to get better and better. And I know that we'll continue on that path until Phoenix.
All right, last question, Josh, is this weekend you're going to Indianapolis in the Oval and you're going to be doing double duty. And so I found it interesting because you're going to be running the AM racing car again. So I'm curious what you learned from last week in the Xfinity Series with them and what feedback you gave them and what you're looking for this week racing with them and just racing in the Cup Series in the Oval, this iconic track.
Yeah, Pocono, obviously the race didn't go like we wanted, but I thought we showed some good potential in practice and qualified pretty well. Unfortunately, just had an issue at the start of the race with a tire rub.
Okay.
That was just a mistake. Really, is the best way to put it. And we from then on, we were laps down. We were down a couple sets of tires. There's a lot going on throughout that process, but I think we learned a lot. And those guys, they've worked really hard this week to go back to Indianapolis, and I think that this was, I really wanted to run that race for them just because I haven't raced at Indy, so I think it's going to be a great
Right.
opportunity for me to go and get laps and learn, and hopefully if we can go execute a better race than we did at Pocono, and stay out of trouble, learn all day, I think we can go get a good finish.
All right, Josh. Hey, man, I really appreciate it. Good talking to you again. I wish you the best of luck this weekend at Indianapolis and the rest of the season.
Awesome, thank you, man.
Thanks, buddy. Take care.